Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gentlemen, thank you for being here today. Thank you for your service, especially during these challenging times. Mr. Secretary, I want to start with you asking, if ISIS is able to consolidate power and to create and dominate a nation state and to retain access to potentially billions of dollars in oil revenue, over time, what is the specific danger to America if they are able to use that nation state to project jihad here?
Senator, as you have expressed it and asked the question, over time, if ISIL is not stopped, and you mentioned the economic power that it has now, then what I would foresee happening, not only immediate threat to United States citizens and our people, our interests, but I think you could very well find Jordan go down as the country that we know it today. I think Saudi Arabia could well be beyond just threatened their oil fields. I think the expansion of where this could go in the Middle East, dominating oil production. Lebanon is also in a very tentative state. Libya is in chaos. Everywhere you look in the Middle East, there is trouble. And if a force like ISIL, in my opinion, is allowed to continue with its ideology, with its resources, with its capability, then, as General Dempsey said, there's no doubt it will impact this country and world economy. Now, this is down the road if this is not stopped. But I think that's what we're looking at here, Senator. But it's an immediate threat to our interests as well.
General Dempsey, worst case scenario, if ISIS were allowed to consolidate power, in your judgment, what would be the worst case specific risk to the homeland and to the lives of American citizens?
Yes, Senator. The combination of radical ideology plus a youth bulge, the entire region is suffering a youth bulge, inequitable distribution of resources, and a state of Islamic radicalization would, first of all, almost surely trigger a confrontation with Iran, into which the rest of the world would be drawn for obvious reasons, but also provides them with this combination of resources plus radical ideology that we actually haven't seen. Most of the radical ideologies are resource-starved, or at least resource-limited. A resource-rich radical ideology must become a threat. It's just inconceivable that it wouldn't be.
Do you believe if they were able to consolidate that power that there would be a risk of their attempting and perhaps even succeeding with a terrorist attack of the magnitude of that occurred on September 11th, 2001, or potentially an even greater terrorist attack?
I'd phrase it this way. Given what they've already demonstrated in terms of brutality and utter disregard for human life, other than that which adheres to their ideology, whatever weapon system they would have in their possession, there's no doubt in my mind they'd use it, to include weapons of mass destruction.
Well, and let me ask about, it's been reported that upwards of 100 Americans are fighting alongside ISIS, have affiliated themselves with ISIS. How would you assess the risk of Americans with U.S. passports coming back to the United States to carry out acts of terror here?
Yeah, we've actually been in close contact with both the intelligence communities and law enforcement. And the risk will increase unless their momentum is reversed and unless their dominance of the media space. They are actually quite capable in social media and other forms of messaging. So unless their momentum is blunted, which will begin to strip away this myth that they've surrounded themselves with. And unless we counter them in the media space, then the risk of radicalization through things like the internet will continue to rise.
But you would characterize the risks of Americans coming back from ISIS with U.S. passports as significant? Is that fair?
I do, and that view is shared by our European allies as well.
If the objective were to destroy ISIS, not to degrade them, but to destroy them within 90 days, what would be required militarily to carry that out?
It's not possible, Senator, because militarily we could confront them, we could destroy a lot of equipment, we could drive them underground, if you will. But as I said, they will only be defeated or destroyed once they're rejected by the populations in which they hide. I mean, there is no military solution to ISIL.
What would be required to kill those who are taking up arms right now?
Well, actually, I think that's the path we're on, which is to say, using our unique capabilities, our counterterror capabilities, our ISR capabilities, our air capabilities, while working on the rest of the equation, which is this coalition of willing allied partners, or willing Arab partners. There is no, I mean, it may be a tough pill to swallow, but there is no military solution. It's got to be part of a broader whole-of-government regional campaign.
And one final question, Secretary Hagel. The President, as I understand it, has laid out what could be an extended military operation that could extend many months or even years. In my view, carrying out such an operation, not responding to immediate exigency, requires congressional authorization, and I think Congress would be prepared to grant that authorization if a specific case were made with clear objectives. What is your position as to the legal authority of the administration to carry out an extended military campaign for years, potentially, absent congressional authorization?
Well, I believe the President has the statutory and constitutional authority to take the action that he is doing to protect this country as he laid it out to the American people last week.
And what is the legal authority that you're basing that on?
Well, the statutory authority is the AUMF of 2001, and I think if you wanted to add something to that, it'd probably be the AUMF of 2003.
My time has expired.
I assume that you meant there's no purely military solution to ISIL. And when you said there's no military, because you're seeking...
Yeah, there's no purely military solution, right.
Thank you. Now, we're going to need to...